Hi, it's finally time to get into Indigo. This has been on my list of just content to react to. A lot of other stuff just came up, and album reactions are very much a huge endeavor to undertake. It's a lot of energy that goes into album reactions, and I think Indigo kind of fell to the wayside a little bit with other content that I wanted to react to. But we are here. It's finally time. I'm very excited. As someone who is a very big fan of Mono, I'm very intrigued to see what Namjoon is going to do in this body of work. And I will be candid with what I do know about it because I'm on the internet, so I have seen some talk about it. I have a friend who's in army and she's talked to me about it. She hasn't spoiled anything, but she's just discussed her feelings, and we've spoken about what Namjoon has said about the album. So I do know he's considered this kind of a final look at his 20s because Namjoon's what, 28? So he has what, a year of his 20s left, and I presume he's not going to release another body of work. Maybe, who knows? But given what Indigo is kind of in a way meant to represent, I doubt it. And I do also remember her telling me that a lot of the people featured on this, because this is a very feature heavy project, that a lot of the people featured on it are people he listened to throughout these periods in his life. So I think that's very cool that he could get them to, feature on the songs that feature on his songs just in general, particularly, songs he probably wrote while listening to them. Like, I just think that's so cool. I'm pretty sure every song no, Wildflower, did Wildflower have a feature? I'll check as I go, but I don't know if every song has a feature, but it's very feature heavy. I'm glad he got to, collaborate with artists that he views so highly. I have heard Still Life and Wildflower, not gonna lie, I definitely prefer Still Life. Like, I love Still Life. It's currently, out of the two songs I've heard, it's very much my favorite. And I think Namjoon's always gonna be someone that has very interesting discussions in his music. So I'm very intrigued to see what comes up. Obviously, I know translation videos are not 100%, and I've kind of somewhat seriously been thinking about learning Korean so I can appreciate lyrics a lot more. Like, in more recent times, it's something that's definitely come to my mind. So who knows? Maybe I'll try and actively learn Korean. See, I'm not sure, but it's something I've thought about a little bit more seriously recently, and I don't know if there's anything else I need to discuss or get out of the way. I think discussion will probably be more so for like particular songs, like some things I want to bring up with like specific songs and discourse I've heard about them. But other than that, yeah, I think we can start the Indigo process, the process of listening to it. I'm very nervous. I don't know what we're gonna get into. I'm very excited also because, again, I am a very big fan of Mono. But without any further ado, we're gonna start with the first one called Yoon. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right, featuring Erica Badu. I know very little about her. There's this one song by her called Hello that is crack. I love that song. It is so addictive. It's featuring Andre 3000, and I think they were in a relationship together, unless I'm misremembering. I don't know much about her, but she has been an artist on my back burner of artists I want to get into. So maybe this will push me into actually getting into more of her music. But anyway, I'm gonna start with Yoon. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, I like the relaxed atmosphere of the song. Sounds like Korean. Sounds like whoever's speaking is speaking Korean. Whichever translation for that. Fuck the trendsetter, I'ma turn back the time, far to when I was 9. Okay, that was very aggro start. I will say I find this interesting because I was wondering how we would tie in conversations. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember a lot of the conversations, and specifically Wildflower, but I do remember some of what he spoke about on Still Life, and he was also very trendsetter on it as well. So, and I think Still Life is either before or after this. So it's very interesting that we're already seeing some tie-ins conversation-wise. I'ma turn back the time, far to when I was 9. Okay. Alright, this flow, okay. I know it just started, but this feels so hip hop. Like, I have no other way to describe it. This feels so hip hop, and I really like this already. Like, off the jump, it's already kind of potentially challenging still life's position as my favorite song.
That's where you belong, or you gon' be alone if 뭣도 아닌 그 지심들을 고집하면은 팀 빠진 넌 사실 뭣도 아니야. 너는 고속도로서 오솔길로 가려 해. 너는 그냥 내 말 좀 들어. 그러다 다 잃어. 늘 그랬듯 you go with the flow, you get better. Fuck that shit, 애들랑제 lifestyle. 내 나의 자리는 경계선의 pipeline. 여전히 난 허락되지 않는 꿈을 꿔. 아무도 보지 않는 춤을 춰.
Ooh. She sounds almost like ethereal to me on this. Holy shit. Oh, I like this.
I wanna be a human. Do some art. It's a cruel world, but this gon' be my part. Cause true beauty is a true sadness. Now you can feel my madness. I wanna be a human before I do some art. It's a cruel world, but this gon' be my part. Cause true beauty is a true sadness. Now you can feel my madness. 그는 말했지 늘 먼저 사람이 되라.
I don't know if I forgot if he said who he's referring to, because I was going to say it definitely feels like he's either speaking to himself, like a part of himself that's being almost overly critical and trying to, especially since we're talking about kind of a younger Namjoon, kind of trying to clip his wings before he even tries to fly, so to speak, right? And now I don't know if he mentioned it and I just missed it, if he's specifically saying that this is a specific person talking to him, or if we're just seeing kind of internal discourse with Namjoon right now, or in the song.
먼저 사람이 되라. 예술할 생각 말고 놀아. 느껴 희노애락. What it did with the techniques, what it did with the skills, what it did with all the words in your lyrics that you can feel. 나 단순히 말한 진리가 뭔지 몰라 다만.
This reminds me of, was it a Trainee's Christmas? That's such an old BTS song, but it reminds me, specifically the line in the lyrics that you can't feel, it reminds me so much of, I think it was that song when Namjoon was also like, how do you expect us to, write love songs when you won't let us love, when you won't let us be in relationships and whatnot. And I don't know if he means in that sense that he's not almost allowed to have those experience, or if he feels like he's kind of being fraudulent in his lyrics. Like, he's like, why are you writing about this? You don't feel this, or you're not being authentic in your writing. Okay, is this my favorite song?
What it did with all the words in your lyrics that you can feel. 나 단순히 말한 진리가 뭔지 몰라 다만 그저 찾아가는 길 위 나의 속도와 방향일 때. But to me you the fucking contemporary. 여전히 이곳에 살아서 흘러 permanently.
Is Yoon a name? Wait, I feel like I'm having like my synapses are firing, because I feel like, I don't know if it's this song, I think one of the songs is named after someone, because I'm trying to make sense of this contemporary line. Hold on, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. You know what? Never mind.
But to me you the fucking contemporary. 여전히 이곳에 살아서 흘러 permanently. 이 모든 경계 위에 선자들에게 반드시 보내야만 했던 나의 밤을 건네. 반짝이는 불꽃은 언젠가 땅으로 카이사르의 것. 카이사르로 시커멓게 탄 심장 쟤를 뿌린 그 위에 실을 쓴내 사선을 오갔던 생과 당신이 마침내 이 땅에 남긴 것들에게 나 역시 그저 좀 더 나은 어른이게. Keep the silence for you do something now. Yeah, yeah. You be a human.
This is definitely very stiff competition for my favorite song.
I wanna be a human before I do some art. It's a cruel world, but this gon' be my part. Cause true beauty is a true sadness. Now you can feel my madness. I wanna be a human before I do some art. It's a cruel world, but this gon' be my part. Cause true beauty is a true sadness. Now you can feel my madness.
죽기까지 못해. 그렇게 하고 싶은데 안 돼. 그러려면
I really think you might be a person, because I really remember seeing that he had named one of his songs after someone. I don't know if they were specifically a painter or some just kind of artist, but I don't know, maybe my brain's just making this up. Okay. Alright, so love the song. Again, discourse in Namjoon music, we love to see it. And very heavy. I mean, I think with Wildflower and Still Life, that was kind of the indication we were going to get. And I think Namjoon's always been a very introspective person in his specifically solo works, even back in the day with, I always forget what his first project was called. Was it called Rap Monster? I think I kind of want to revisit Rap Monster because I listened to it a very long time ago and think of potentially revisiting it. I don't know if I want to do it on the channel or by myself. Let me know if y'all would be interested in seeing me revisit Rap Monster. But anyway, a conversation I feel like that comes up quite often with Namjoon is this discourse about deservedness, right? I think he's someone that always talks about, what am I trying to articulate? That he always talks about, you know, do I even deserve this responsibility, you know, this ability to express myself in this way? How can I aspire to be a person that is worthy of having, you know, this level of responsibility? Because, you know, being in BTS, I think it's kind of comes with some terms and conditions, and specifically being the leader of BTS, I'm sure comes with even more terms and conditions. And I feel like sometimes in his music he can be very like, he can question that a lot and be like, what makes me worthy of being as big and as popular as I am? And again, I don't know if I was reading it right in these lyrics, where there were moments where he was like that line in particular really got to me. I didn't talk about it because I wanted to keep my thoughts till the end. The line where he was like, he says you always need to be a man. I think he said you can't express your feelings, feeling joy, sadness, or I might be misremembering that, but I'm paraphrasing here. And again, I don't know if this is internal dialogue he has with himself where he's like, I don't even know if I should express these feelings in general in my music and whatnot. And I did, if I was reading the line correctly at the end where he was like, I'll work towards being a better adult. I feel like I could also kind of see that as him saying, I'm working towards, like I said, feeling like I'm worthy and I'm valid in my art and in my expressions of myself and my emotions. But I might be completely off again, just trying to get what I can from the lyric videos. I loved Erica on this. She sounded beautiful. From what I have heard of her, she has such a ethereal voice. I really think that's the best way I can describe it. Like, I want to be in a forest when I listen to her voice. That's the energy of her voice. I really should check her music out. I've been putting it off for so long. And from what I have heard, this included, I have enjoyed her so much. I don't know why it's taken me so long to finally get into her music. This might be the push I needed though. I love you. I love the relaxed, quiet energy. I think that fit from what I could get at least, that fit the discourse of the song so well. It's very much giving 3 a.m. sitting alone in your room just thinking. And if that's not on brand for Namjoon, I don't know what is. It was giving very much that. Kind of reminded me, is it fair to say it kind of reminds me of Moonchild? A little bit, because I feel like there's a little bit of Moonchild energy there. I'm not saying obviously his works cannot exist irrespective of one another, just where my brain went. Anyway, rambled on long enough. Really like this. Strong contender for favorite song. Very strong contender for favorite song so far. So the next one is All Day featuring Tableau. I will say I haven't heard of Tableau. I don't think I've heard of them. Might be misremembering. Maybe there's music I've heard, but I off the top of my head can't remember. Very high expectations because I think it's Yoon then still left an All Day on the track list, because I always double check it just to make sure I'm listening to the songs in order and I'm not missing anything. But anyways, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. A lot of kind of soulful sounds on this album so far. Well, between this Yoon and Still Life at least. Wildflower, from what I remember, was definitely a little bit more different.
Okay.
I was not expecting us to get upbeat like this. Okay, Namjoon, alright.
Okay. 요즘 광고는 똑같아 일단은 즐겨라 내 맘대로 멋진 옷을 입은 멋진 춤추는 이들 밖은 몸치가 더 많네 그저 습관이든 I don't care 알지 그런 놈들이 더 두개
Okay.
사실 몸은 아무것도 아니야 막 믿어 무지 그래 내가 날 모르네 꺼져 인공지능 fuck the algorithm 사색이 필요해 fuck all the rhythm 사유할 틈을 안 주는 내 바이오리듬 언제쯤 써보게 될까 나만의 신은 살아남느라 잊혀진 dream에 너도 화났지
Okay, because I was like, this is far too lighthearted. I'm not that I don't think Namjoon will make a fun song. Maybe I'll eat my words in a few tracks. But I was like, considering the subject matters we've touched on, I was like, okay. Seems like he's very much talking more so about how he's doing mentally, almost at the expense of his physical well-being. I don't know if he's saying his body doesn't matter in that it's like okay, but he's more so struggling psychologically, because that line in particular jumped out at me. Yeah, the body is nothing. That's why I was like, again, I don't know if it's a whole translation issue or anything, but I'm like, does he mean more so that he's fine physically, but psychologically that's where his issues lie? And I think it was in, am I thinking of Wildflower, where he's kind of like, you in a sense almost have to kill part of your dreams, almost part of yourself, if we're going to take it extreme, more to the extreme part, in order to fulfill your dreams. And I think he says that later on in the song, like the restrictions that almost exist to be a celebrity and idol. This line, this forgotten dream, you have to become a star. I don't know if that's more in reference to, yes, you're successful, yes, you're an idol, but there are dreams and aspirations and even parts of yourself that you kind of have to forget, kind of have to kill to reach that point, especially to reach the point that Namjoon is at in his career. Namjoon can't just keep doing this. He can't just keep making bops. What is
Honey, it tastes like me. Okay. I'm digging all day. I'm finding real man. I'm selling all day. All day.
this low-key groovy? Hold on. Maybe this is what he meant with, you know, kind of not being able to shut off his brain, because I mean, I am vibing, but I am very much paying attention to the lyrics as well, and him saying that he has to dig to find himself all day. I can see how that would get exhausting. I can see how you'd want your brain to kind of shut off at that point. That's not how it works. Brains do suck sometimes. Is Pablo gonna come in? Oh, I thought he would be a singer for some reason. I don't know why. See, this having to silence yourself, having to again, I mean, I don't think it's a hot take. It's not like we're all unaware of how restrictive being an idol can be. But I think Namjoon's kind of really hammering that point home in this project so far. There's been a lot of discussion of fire as well, I've noticed. I think, was there some in Wildflower as well? Or maybe I'm just being distracted by the visuals because there been like fireworks in that one. That could slow. Period. Okay, no, but these lines are some of my favorites in the song. Like, should I check out Tableau? Maybe. Your life is a big match to make it a bigger fire. I really like this line. I love it so much. The calling, the telling people to not waste the opportunity. Like, I know it's a cliche to be like, yeah, you're only given one life, but you really are. So why not live it to the fullest that you legally and realistically can, but to the full and morally. You know, don't do awful shit, but you know what I mean. I also like this. Get your ass off the bench, start warming up. We gotta fight when they say behave. Okay, he low-key might be my favorite feature so far. Burn it up, work up it now. Get your ass off the bench, start warming up. We gotta fight when they say behave. I'ma be okay, I'ma be that way. 눈부릅 두고 알아서 잘 지낼게. Haters 어서 눈 감아 내 인생 꼴 보기 싫으면 원래 꿈 같은 일은 눈 뜨고 보기 힘들어. You feel me? No, but I cannot just keep having a new favorite song. Content-wise, just because of how, like, specifically Tableau's message was definitely a lot more, and I think it makes sense. It's kind of Namjoon coming in with the insecurities and the overthinking and feeling like he can't be himself, and Tableau being like, my guy, what are you doing? Like, this is how you want to spend your life? Really? Okay. Like, I like the balance and the kind of almost, you could argue it's a little bit almost conversational. Like, I do think there's a lot of Tableau responding to what Namjoon says in the song. Is it my favorite? I cannot keep having a new favorite song. That Let's Go sounds very familiar. What is it from? It reminds me of the Let's Go and that's weird. That's why it sounds so familiar. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same one. Come on, vocalist Namjoon, okay. Yup. Maybe Yoon, All Day, and Still Life are all just my favorite songs. Maybe that's what I just need to accept. Is discourse-wise, this might be my favorite, just because of how kind of uplifting it is. And I think it's always important to have someone, a song, a message, whatever it may be, to kind of remind you that you do. Again, it's a cliche, it definitely is. Be like, yeah, you only have one life, but you like genuinely do. And it's a lot easier said than done to just be like, yeah, live it to the fullest. But getting a little personal here, I suppose. I think specifically in more recent years, I've tried to take that more to heart. And I think it's a combination of being in my 20s now and living through a pandemic. I think those two factors have contributed a lot to how I kind of view life and my outlook on it. And I think because of that, that's probably a big reason why the song is definitely one of my favorites musically, but specifically in the discourse. And again, it's easy, it might even be cheesy to some people to just be like, yeah, live your life, why do you care what people think? But as I've gotten older, I've genuinely started to adopt that attitude a lot more, because it's more fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely a lot more of a fun way to live my life, to just do whatever I want. Realistically, of course, but do whatever I want, do what makes me happy, do what's so good for me, balance and all of that. I have found my life to be somewhat more enjoyable, Last year was definitely a rough year overall, but I do think I found a lot more joy in my life because of it. Yeah, so this whole album just hits. Okay, not gonna lie though, to be honest, off of the how many songs now? 5 that I've heard with Yoon. No, I can't count. 4. Yoon, Still Life All Day, and Wildflower. This is, I feel like every time Namjoon releases an album, it becomes my new favorite, because is this gonna dethrone Mono? I can high-key see it. I can see Indigo dethroning Mono. So the next one is called Forgetful. I wonder if they'll explain in the song why he chose to get rid of the E. I'm also not familiar with Kim Sawol. I don't know if that's how you say their name. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Either way, really liked Tableau on it. His feature, probably my favorite feature on the album so far. So let's get into it. 3, 2, 1.
1, 2.
Oh, so we're getting angsty. Okay. And we're getting vocalist Namjoon. So this is Namjoon from 2 years ago, 2020 Namjoon.
왜 기억하질 못하냐 해 연애 친구들 서운해해요 미안해 생각이 참 많아 연애 메모리가 모자라요 수많은 가시들과 오고야마는 아침과 각자의 방식들로 스스로 마취해가요 Yeah, yeah.
공원에 가지 않으면 안 돼요. 나 자연의 색이 좋아요. 어차피 다시 간 문제예요. 너도 그게 필요할걸요. Yeah. 어릴 적 풀냄새 기억나요. 꽤나 새삼스러울걸요. 그래요 그냥 잊고 살아요. 여기 모두가 바본걸요. 수많은 가시들과 오고야 많은 아침과 각자의 방식들로 스스로를 마취해가요. Yeah.
I really like this section of the song.
수많은 가시들과 오고야 많은 아침과 각자의 방식들로 스스로를 마취해가요 yeah. 나는 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 나나 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 나나
This song feels like it went by very fast. Maybe it's because I didn't pause. I don't know, I didn't feel the inclination to almost. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to like sit and listen to it. And I'm wondering if the E missing is meant to emphasize obviously that lack of being able to recall that they were both talking about in the song. This is I would say it's probably the most toned down one so far. Very quiet, very not as introspective necessarily, but yeah, definitely I would say one of the more like quiet ones on this album. Kind of gives me a similar energy to Yoon, but not as upbeat in the feeling that it brings out of me, because Yoon, like I said, it's very much 3 a.m. introspective, thinking about yourself, thinking about life and all of that, your place in the world almost. Whereas Forgetful is somewhat similar, kind of more 3 a.m. but just like lying down in silence. that's more the energy that Forgetful gives me. And in what I know I spoke about almost, I don't know, is deservedness even a word? I feel like it is. But outside of deservedness, I also think we hear a lot of, you know, who am I from Namjoon in BTS outside of it as well. And I think this song kind of encapsulates a lot of those feelings that we see him bring up when the specific discussion tends to arise. This, who is the real me? What can I consider to be the real me when I'm, you know, always forgetting? And he even said, I think one of the lines was, I don't have enough space for all my thoughts and feelings and memories and all of that. And now how can I say that's me? How can I say this is the real me when I forget stuff, I can't recall stuff? I will say, in the spirit of being candid, though I appreciate it, I think it might probably be my least favorite song so far in comparison to everyone else. And I think it is just my tendency, and I say this with other projects as well. I'm not a big fan of like slower songs, or not that I'm not a big fan of them, I don't revisit them super duper often, and I think Forgetful might be that song, but who knows, maybe I'll surprise myself and revisit it more than I think I will. But I do appreciate it for what it is, and I think the featured artists sounded beautiful on the song. Their voice is very stunning, incredibly pleasant to listen to. But yeah, I do think it probably right now at least probably ranks lower for me on Indigo. So the last song for this part, at least still have a whole other 4 songs to go, is Closer. Also not familiar with these artists, but again, not, you know, against discovering new artists potentially. Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. I was also gonna say in the previous one, I think Yoon and Forgetful are the only ones we've gotten specific ages in. We heard about 9-year-old Namjoon and 26-year-old Namjoon. I wonder if he'll also sprinkle that in the other songs as well, like bring up specific ages.
I get a feeling sometimes that I can't get close enough to you. I feel it most in the nighttime, even though that's when I'm closest to you.
Okay.
If I could be under your skin, closer than we've ever been. We'd be closer than we've ever been.
I feel it most of the night time, yeah. Me.
He's back to see.
I feel it most of the night time, yeah. Me never on your timeline, yeah. See you always in the limelight, keep me rolling in the deep, yeah. Not a taste, no joke, I don't mean it. Don't cease, baby, don't. Why you floating? Wanna lock you up on my side, but you run away like a fish, yeah. I keep you right next to me, only just in my dream. I see you in red the grind, don't wake me up from sleep. I think I'm losing my grip, everything, all the pain. Why you showed up in my life like this? You sudden, oh God, no.
I get a feeling sometimes.
I also want to say I do like Mahalia's voice. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing their name.
Closest to you, if I could be under your skin, closer than we've ever been. We'd be closer than we've ever been.
Come all out of your front block, baby. Say the time, don't wait for nobody. Oh, I bet you thought, baby. But the time won't stop when you and I make our lips lock, baby. And once again, you made me misplace my pride, baby.
What is singing on this? Okay. I like this almost like quivering that his voice does, or their voice does, like that. I think it's maybe it's a good way to display emotion, because we're gonna talk about it more towards the end. But it's definitely it's coming across a little bit one-sided, this relationship that they're talking about. I really like it.
이걸로만 좋아할게. I don't need your touch. 너의 사랑이면 안 돼. Yeah, if there's no candle, yeah, just looking at you. Let's go in the day, so stay where you are. If there's no candle. Just looking at you. Let's go in a tank top. Stay where you are. 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 Stay where you are.
Is that an electric guitar in the back? Whatever guitar it was, I really liked it. Okay, so I mean, this is another bit I had heard about, that parts of Indigo feel very breakup-y, like there are the portions of the song, because I think it's kind of a bit of a running joke where everyone's like, Namjoon's married with kids, like he just gave off that energy, and maybe he dropped songs like Closer to tell people they're a bit off, because this does not give romance, does not give present romance, doesn't give healthy romance. I don't know, lyrically I don't know if there's really much to discuss. I feel like Close is kind of one of the more straightforward songs, at least with like translations and whatnot. It's one of the most straightforward ones. It's wanting to be closer with someone. Wow, Christine. But specifically more intimate. I'm not even talking about like sleeping with someone, just wanting a deeper connection with someone. They even say it in the beginning. I forgot which one of them says this line, that I want to be closer than when I'm like sleeping right next to you. Like I want to be closer than that. I don't feel like we're connected in that way. And that's more so what I mean when I like refer to intimacy. It's not always about sex, you know, it's many different ways to be intimate with many different people. And obviously there's very much a disconnect happening here. I will say, because a lot of this did feel very almost desperate, I would say. But at the end, that shit hurt my feelings, by the way, when there was that call and was like the realization that, you know, this is them, or he's just Namjoon pouring his heart out and this is not even answering. And specifically, like, I agree, Paul's performance on the song is definitely my favorite. Paul 8 on the song. But after that, them getting the bridge and being like, you know, I just want you to love me. Like, that's all I want from you. That should hurt. That should hurt. I was like, okay, I don't know who hurt Namjoon, but wow, that should hurt him. Really, if the song is anything to go by, that should like hurt him. But yeah, it's just, I think the song is very much an outcry, a very blatant outcry for love, especially towards the end of the song, but specifically more so intimacy, like wanting that intimacy with someone who kind of seems like they don't want it. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they explicitly stated in the song, but from what I was getting, it seems like it's very much more one-sided. Like, this is Namjoon in this instance, because this is his album. So this is like Namjoon reaching out and trying with this person, but they're not reciprocating. And I will say the ending does feel optimistic, because Namjoon's like, stay where you are. So I don't know if this is him being like, I don't want to do this dance again with you. Told you I loved you. You don't love me. You don't have to, but I'm not gonna put myself through this cycle again. So I don't know if I'm reading that wrong and that it's not as optimistic as it sounds to me. But if it is optimistic, good for you. Good for you, Namjoon. But yeah, this has been part 1 of my Indigo reaction, and I will see you in the next one.